The blizzard slammed into Montana that bitter December night in 1892 like a freight train from hell. Eleanor Whitaker stared out her kitchen window, watching the wind whip snow across her sprawling 8,000-acre spread. At 45, she was still a striking woman, raven hair tied back in a simple braid, figure holding strong in her deep blue wool dress, but looks didn't count for much when isolation was your constant companion. Then she spotted him. Samuel Reed, her newest ranch hand, battling through the drifts toward the main cabin. Just 26, untouched by the world's rough edges. Every bit the rugged soul her late husband could never measure up to. He pounded on the door. She swung it open against the gale. "Miss Whitaker," the herd's bedded down tight. He gasped, snow caking his broad shoulders. "Samuel, you're half frozen. Get inside." Their gazes locked, and in that instant, something ignite draw, forbidden hunger that had nothing to do with the storm outside. It was the kind that builds slowly and explodes without warning. What unfolded next would test them both, but was one stolen moment worth risking everything. 6 months back, Samuel had drifted onto the Whitaker ranch with little more than a saddlebag and ambitions as vast as the Rockies. Born in Kansas, orphaned young after his pa fell in a mining accident, he'd bounced from outfit to outfit since 19, scraping by and stashing every cent for his own stake. Eleanor had eyed him from the porch that crisp June dawn. Most cowboys were hard luck cases, all grit and gambling, but this one stood out. He handled his mount like an extension of himself, and when he addressed her Mexican herders, his tone carried genuine respect, not the usual sneer. "Ma'am, word is you're hiring for the summer drive," he said, hat in hand. She stepped nearer. Lord. He was handsome, with chiseled features, piercing green eyes, and a clean-shaven face that screamed self-control amid chaos. "You know your way around steers, Mr. Reed?" "Samuel Reed, ma'am. And yeah, I can wrangle whatever comes my way." A spark jumped between them, hot and hazardous. She pulled back quickly. $40 a month, plus grub and a bunk. His brow shot up. The top wage was $35. "That's mighty fair, Mrs. Whitaker. Good hands earn it." She signed him on right then, the best or worst decision she'd ever made. In days, Samuel had the crew running like a well-oiled machine. He could tame broncs that bucked others off, cipher figures better than the town clerk, and each dusk, as he nodded goodnight on his way to the bunkhouse, her pulse quickened in a way it hadn't since her girlhood days. Eleanor had wed Josiah Whitaker at 22, a merger of her father's lumber empire and a cattle king's fortune, twice her age. 23 years of obligation, frosty nights, and frostier talks. When Josiah keeled over 4 years ago from a bad heart, she'd grieved the stability, not the man. Love? Passion? Foreign concepts until Samuel Reed rode in like a promise wrapped in denim. The hands admired him, but Eleanor caught the subtleties. His nose buried in dog-eared books by lantern light, the precise tally of his pay, the fire in his stare when he scanned the endless prairies. "Got plans for your own outfit one day?" she asked one crisp September eve as he delivered his ledger to the cabin. "Yes, ma'am. That's the goal. Dreams can bite back, Samuel. So can settling for less." She handed him tea. Her lace cuff grazed his knuckles. He flinched like scalded. "I oughta head out, ma'am." Oughta and wanna ain't the same. The air thickened. He rose, all 6'2" of restrained power. "Mrs. Whitaker." "Eleanor. Call me Eleanor. I know your name, ma'am, and I know my spot." He bolted, but the seed was planted. Whispers spread among the crew-side glances when she carried water to the fields. She was flirting with disaster, and the smoke was rising. What happens when a widow starved for real connection crosses paths with the one guy who could shatter her world? It erupted on a Wednesday. Coyotes had been stalking the calves for weeks. Samuel rode solo to scatter them. Dawn broke, and he cornered the pack, 5 mangy beasts with glowing eyes and empty guts. His Winchester jammed mid-charge. He hit the dirt, fangs tearing his arm before the varmints fled at distant shots. They hauled him to the main cabin. The bunkhouse lacked proper bandages. Eleanor glimpsed the blood-soaked flannel and shooed everyone. "I'll handle this." Alone with him, Her pulse thundered. She sliced off his shirt, plenty of bare-chested workers in haying season. But this? Samuel's skin gleamed tawny under touch. "This'll sting," she warned. "Already does, ma'am." She doused the gashes with moonshine, ignoring how his muscles rippled. Inhaling his scent leather, pine, pure man. "You were reckless out there. Brave but dumb. Couldn't lose the stock." Their eyes met, breath synced. "Mrs. Whitaker." "Eleanor." She wrapped the cloth, face inches from his. "Say it. Just once." "I can't, Eleanor." The name hung heavy, waves crashing. She finished, palm lingering on his chest, feeling his hard hammer. "Your trouble, Samuel Reed." "No, ma'am. You are." He stood, wounds be damned, inches apart, her hands still pressed to his warm skin. "Breed's ragged." "The boys are gossiping," she murmured. "I know. Reverend Hayes cornered me on Sunday, asking if I was minding boundaries with the boss lady. And told him to butt out." Samuel grinned, lighting his whole face. "That's my woman. My woman." Knees buckled. "I should can you. For your sake. Send you packing before tongues wag harder." "Probably. But you won't." "Why?" "'Cause you're starved, and I'm the first real spark in decades." She retreated, straightening her apron with shaky hands. "Rest up. That's an order." She fled upstairs, tears for a loveless marriage, a hollow life, the honorable man below who'd walk away if asked, and the fool in her praying he wouldn't. That night, dreams swirled of predator eyes, tender caresses, his voice whispering her name like gospel. Awakening, she knew she was doomed. Would Samuel Reed save her or seal her fate? The blizzard descended like divine wrath. Eleanor had dispatched the crew to town that morn, save Samuel, who lingered for barn chores. The cook, old Mrs. Garcia, had skedaddled to kin the day prior. Alone, she ignored it while fixing supper, ears straining for his boots on the stoop, mind wandering to what-ifs if he sought refuge. His knock jolted her. "Livestock squared, ma'am. But this blow's turning nasty." Snow dusted him like flour, his lips tinged blue. "Come warm up." She poured coffee, spiked with brandy, hands occupied. He stood by the stove, vapor rising from his damp gear. "Strip those wet duds," she blurted, cheeks flaming. "I'll manage, Mom Eleanor." The name rolled softly, savoring. Wind screamed, flames danced. They sat opposite, decorum intact, but tension crackled. "Tell me about Kansas. Your folks." "Not much story. Pa gone in the mines, Ma followed from grief. On my lonesome since 15. That's why you've never." "With a gal?" "Maybe. Or waiting for the right one." Silence fell, storm roaring. "Samuel, I know. I'm green. You're a proper widow, folks'll chatter." She rose to the pain, reflection Makinga, woman vibrant, yearning. "What if I skip all that?" He approached from behind, heat radiating. "Then you're the gutsiest, craziest lady I know." "Same difference." She pivoted, breaths mingled. His palm cupped her jaw. "We shouldn't. We can choose, Eleanor. For once." Her name undid her. She leaned in. He kissed gently, then fiercely as she yielded. Decades of chill vaporized. Fingers fumbled his buttons. He gasped. "Eleanor, sure?" She guided him upstairs. The bedroom glowed by hearthlight. "Shy now." "I've never." "Not wanting it." "Slow as you need." Reverent hands undid her gown, tracing curves with awe. Corset dropped. He murmured, "Lord, Eleanor, you're flawless." 45 and flawless. Her shift pulled. She stood bare in fire glow, bold. Then him stripped to glory, young, vital, hers tonight. Bed welcomed. Explorations ignited gasps of discovery. She arched, pleading. He poised above, eyes ablaze. Boom! The front door crashed. Voices. "Mrs. Whitaker? You in?" Samuel swore, rolled off. "Dress fast." She scrambled, hearts pounding. 1 SEC. Downstairs, reality hit. Sheriff Barnes wasn't alone. Reverend Hayes loomed, brushing snow, eyes sharp on her tousled state. "Evening, Mrs. Whitaker." River bridge flooded. "Saw your light. Mind if we hole up?" "Of course." Voice strained. Samuel emerged from the back, rumpled but clothed. Sheriff, Reverend. Barnes squinted. Reed? Odd hour for the main house. Horses spooked. Mrs. Whitaker offered Joe while it blew over. Fib but plausible. Hayes wasn't fooled, gaze darting. How charitable. Words laced with acid. A private word. Mrs. Whitaker. They adjourned to the den. Samuel stalled Barnes in the kitchen. Hayes plunked in Josiah's chair like a judge. I'm worried about you. Lone widow. Hired guns around unseemly. I'm fine, Reverend. Appearances count. Reputation, too. Talks brewing. About you and that kid, cowboy. Favors, extra pay. Samuel got 40, others 35. He's top-notch. Earns it. Sure, but optics. Lady, you're standing widowed, doting on a fella half-age. He's 26. I'm 45. Not half. Close enough for scandal. Hayes leaned in. Merchant Caldwell's keen to court solid, fitting. Caldwell. 62. Paunchy, lifeless eyes, reeking of stale cigars. Worse than Josiah. Not interested in tying knots again. Should before standing soul. Slap. She rose. Storm's easing. Time you go. Think on it. Caldwell quiets gossip, brings steadiness. Peace. Bitter taste. In the kitchen, mundane chat masked turmoil. Dawn broke. Visitors departed. Samuel emerged. I got a split. No. She whirled. You heard. Stay, and they ruin you. If you bolt, they win. Stay, you lose all. She turned from the glass. Maybe all ain't worth it if it's fake. Don't toss your world for me. What world? Years faking proper, ignoring wants. He clasped her hands. Last night changed us. Nodded. No retreat but advance? Perilous. Spring dragged into Montana that year. By May, meadows bloomed, but Eleanor scarcely noticed. Samuel vanished in April's chill, weeks after Sheriff Barnes relayed community concerns about unseemly ties at Whitaker Ranch. No charges, just hints. Samuel, best mosey elsewhere. She railed, vowing to axe gossip, but Samuel chose. Won't drag you down, packing his rig. You deserve more than this mess, more than me. She watched him fade into the horizon, speck to nothing. A month later, she accepted Caldwell's ring, not love, never again, not fire, knowing it's burned but for truce, the hush of conformity. Wedding set for July. But fate twisted. One eve, as she porch sat, sunset gilding peaks like Samuel's gaze, a rider approached, not a stranger, but him. Eleanor. Heart stopped. Samuel? Thought you were in Wyoming. Was. Bought a patch modest, but mine. He dismounted, eyes fierce. Couldn't stay gone. The letter was a draft. Rode instead. But Caldwell. Forget him. We fight this. Together. She froze. Society loomed. But his touch reignited. They'll shun us. Let him. You my peace. She pulled him close. A kiss sealed it. They wed quietly, town be damned. Ranch thrived under joint reigns. Whispers faded as success spoke. Years on, kids ran the fields, proof that love conquers. What do you think? Was Eleanor right to define norms for true passion, or should she have played it safe? Drop your take in the comments. Team risk it all, or team reputation? Let's debate.